to my channel. Just in case you don't know who I am, I'm Katie, but you can also call me Dinky. Now I'm going to be starting doing a little mini series, and it's all about serial killers. Now I've always been fascinated with serial killers for as long as I can remember, and enjoy reading about them, watching documentaries, watching films about them. Basically just learning about what they did and who the person is behind the crimes. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, then please do stay around and watch to the end. And if you don't, then please go and check out my other videos on my channel. However, I do hope you enjoyed watching this video. Now the first serial killer that I'm going to be talking about is a female one, and she is called Cynthia Coffman. Now she was born on the 19th of January 1962 in St. Louis, Missouri. And she was a privileged daughter of a businessman who left the family when she was only a little girl. Now she has two brothers, Robbie and Jeff. And her mother, Carol Mander, I think that's how you say her name, she encountered marital, financial and other difficulties in raising Cynthia and her two brothers, who were given up for adoption. Carol had lack of closeness with Cynthia due to Cindy having surgery to remove a double hernia. So there wasn't the physical contact that a mother and child would usually have, and this obviously made the closeness not as good. Cynthia was irritable and aggressive towards her mother and to most people, but she did bond with her stepfather. School was a mixed bag. High school, she had truancy, drug issues and really poor grades. And then when Cynthia was about 17, she met Ron Kaufman, and he disappeared for a few months with not a word to anybody, and she came back and she found out she was pregnant. And she graduated school at 18 and then had her baby, who was a son called Joshua, I believe, and then she was forced to marry Ron. The marriage was not a very amicable marriage. There was fights and arguments and abuse, and then she finally fled the home and left the baby behind, and Kaufman's parents took care of the baby. Cynthia moved west to Arizona, and she found herself a couple of jobs, particularly one in a diner where she worked as a waitress. And there she met and moved in with a Doug Huntley, and that was in 1985. Sometime later, she and Huntley were evicted after numerous complaints from neighbours about the all-night parties. On May 8th, 1986, Cynthia and Huntley were stopped by the police, and they were stopped for running a stop sign in Barstow, California. And they found a loaded Derringer, which is a handgun, I believe, and a quantity of amphetamine, which is crystal meth, in her purse, and she was released and the charges were dropped. Huntley served 6 years in county jail, his crimes, and this was how Cynthia met his cellmate, James Gregory Marlowe, who would irrevocably, he would change her life considerably. James Gregory Marlowe was doing time for the theft of his wife's car, so he'd been married a few times. Back to Huntley, according to him, a year prior to the altercation incident where there was between the couple and a few other men, and she pulled out a gun. So a year to this altercation, he was walking down the street after arguing with Cynthia, who drove up beside him in her car and asked him to get in, When he told her he'd rather walk home, she drove in his direction, coming up on the sidewalk and forcing him to move out the way. So basically she was prepared to run him over just because he'd rather walk home. Back to Marlowe. He was born in 1957 and he had been a thief since he was the age of 10. There was a lot of abuse and things happening in his own family that were not good. And he was committed to Folsom Prison in 1980 for a series of home invasions and knife-point robberies. And he served 3 years of that conviction, earning himself a reputation as the Folsom Wolf, proudly wearing tattoos of the neo-Nazi Aryan Brotherhood tattoos. Now, it's love at first sight for Cynthia and Marlowe. And when he left jail, he went in search of Cynthia at their apartment that she shared with Huntley. And Huntley was soon forgotten about, and together the pair left California in June. Marlowe had relatives in the border south, and the couple began working through the families and sponging room and board where they could, ripping up valuables when they were finally asked to leave. And he ended up sleeping in the woods where she contracted head lice, and he was forced to bathe in kerosene, which is a petroleum oil, to rid himself of biting chiggers, which is mice. So they were on the run, living day to day, trying to feed the drug habits because they were both doing drugs still. And I can just imagine the state that they must have been in, and the smell, unwashed hair, dirty clothes, and probably having to rob money for food as well. Not nice. On July 26th of 1986, Cynthia and Marlowe, as they were linked to a home burglary in Whitley County, Kentucky, ending up with cash, some jewellery and a shotgun. Days later in Tennessee, they were married. Cynthia celebrated this occasion by getting her buttocks tattooed with the legend "I property of the Folsom Wolf," and the reports that she also had a ring finger tattooed as well. They soon drifted west again in search of easy prey. On the evening of October 11th, 1986, 32-year-old Sandra Neary left her home in Costa Mesa, California, to obtain cash from the ATM at the bank. Husband Stephen and baby daughter waited at home. Her car was found by police in a local car park. 2 weeks later, on October 24th, her strangled, decomposing corpse was found by hikers in Corona in Riverside County. Pamela Simmons, age 35, was the next to die. Reported missing in Bullhead City, Arizona, on October 28th. Her car was found abandoned near police headquarters. Detectives theorising that she had been snatched while drawing money from a curbside ATM. 10 days later, 7th of November, 20-year-old Karina Novice vanished on a similar errand in Redlands, California. She had been kidnapped from a shopping mall in broad daylight.
Karina Novice was reported missing by friends and co-workers and her boss. Her boss was particularly concerned because Karina was a very reliable person, and when she didn't show up for work for several days, she became very concerned about her welfare.
She tells police when she went to Karina's apartment to check on her, the front door was open and her car gone. Inside, the place was a mess.
Linnell Murray's boyfriend was worried on November the 12th when the 19-year-old psychology student failed to keep a date after work. He found her car outside the dry cleaning job where she worked at in Orange County, California. But another day would pass before her naked, strangled body was found in Huntington Beach motel room. In addition to the kidnapping and murder, there was also evidence of sexual assault. Police were praying for a break. When it came, the case unravelled swiftly. First, Karina Novis's checkbook was found in a Laguna Niguel trash dumpster, tucked inside a fast food paper bag with papers belonging to Cynthia and Marlo, as they had the names on them. At around the same time, Cynthia and Marlo was linked to San Bernardino motel room, where the manager found stationery bearing practice signatures of Linnell Marie's signature. A glance at Marlo's criminal record did the rest, and a stateside alert was issued for both fugitives. On November the 14th, 1986, police were called to a mountain lodge at Big Bear City, which is in California, where the owner identified his latest guests as Cynthia and Marlo. 100 posse men were found lodge empty. They did a sweep out in the woods that finally paid off, and at approximately 3 p.m. that day, the couple were found hiking along a mountain road. They surrendered without a fight, both wearing stolen clothing from the dry cleaning shop where Linnell Marie worked at. Hours later, Cynthia led officers to a vineyard in Fontana, where they found Karina Novis's sodomized and strangled lying body in a shallow grave. Cynthia and Marlo were formally charged with that murder on November 17th, held over for trial without bond. If any further proof of guilt were needed, homicide investigators told press that fingerprints from both defendants had been found inside Karina's car, and Cynthia had been linked to a Fontana pawn shop where the victim's typewriter was pawned. Over 2.5 years later, before the killer couple went to trial. And in the meantime, these views have fallen out, each blaming the other for their plight. On one jailhouse visit, Cynthia's lawyer asked her if there was anything that she needed from the outside world, and she said yeah, pointing to her backside. "You can find someone to help me lose this damn tattoo." The couple's murder trial finally opened in San Bernardino County on July 18th, 1989. Both were convicted on all charges and were sentenced to death on August the 30th. Cynthia became the first woman sentenced to die in California since that state restored capital punishment in 1977. And I do want to add to one of the victims' husband, and that was Sandra Neely's husband, Stephen, had later committed suicide, which was very sad. There seems to have been a few things happening with drugs, I think. Quite a sad case, really. But there's so much more that I think needs to be dug up about what happened to Cynthia's son, because he'll be an adult now. And I wonder what his thoughts are on his mother's life, what happened to the other victims' families. And there's Marlo's stepsister or half-sister and her husband were involved in some of the crimes. I'd like to find out a bit more about that, so if you'd like me to do a video talking about more about other people who are involved in the crimes, then let me know in the comments below. And do you have any other questions? I think it's always more shocking when it's a female serial killer, because predominantly they are men. And I think Arlene Wuornos was like the first one to be really known for being a serial killer, because she killed men, whereas Cynthia killed women and was involved in some of the acts that were done to these victims. really not a very nice couple. I wonder if Cynthia had experienced more of a closeness with her mother, her brothers were adopted, would she follow the same path? I wonder. Or would you just plain evil, plain cruel? Who knows? Maybe we can dig some more up and do another video like I said. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. And don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you like it. And share for those who will like this kind of video. And I will see you all in my next video. So don't forget to subscribe so you can see the next video. What serial killers intrigue you? Let me know in your comments. Bye! Bye!